everybody, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Chris Yee.
And I'm Joey Evans.
And today we're taking a look at a new game called The Gang. It's not particularly easy to see this cover. It's a black and gold foil cover. The rulebook is much easier to see.
Much easier.
I wonder if this is a special edition, but I was telling Chris before we started, it's all kind of scuffed up on the front here. Anyway, this is a cooperative poker game. It's from Cosmos, and it's clear that they took the idea, I think, of The Crew. They're like, hey, The Crew is a cooperative trick-taking game.
The Gang. I can't wait for the sequel to this called The Buds.
That's a cooperative checker game. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so this is a game that comes with a deck of cards. You know what? I'm just going to show you how to play it, and we'll be right back. This game uses a standard 52 card deck. Uses the rules for Texas Hold'em. I'm going to assume that you'll know those. If not, the game does explain those to you. So I guess you could use another deck if you wanted to, but this one has a vault on it. You're trying to break into a vault. Everyone is going to be given 2 cards initially, dealt from the deck. And in the middle of the table, you're going to put some white chips numbered from 1 to the number of players. Let's say you're playing a 4-player game. You'd have just 1 through 4. I'm going to look at my hand and evaluate the strength of it. I can take a chip and put that chip in front of me. I can take a chip someone else, put in front of them, and put it in front of me. I can be like, you know what? Nah, I can do that. You can do kind of what you want, but at the end of the round, each person has 1 chip in front of you, basically saying how good you think your hand is. Then we put out the flop, we add 3 cards in the middle, and we look at our hand again. Well, I'm feeling much better about my hand at this point. Like, this is a great hand. So now we put out the yellow chips, and the same thing here. I would take the 4, and then we would add a 4th card. Not bad. And then we would add a 5th card. And after you add the 4th card, you use the orange chips. Now the thing is, after that 5th card is out there, we use the red chips. And the red chips are what matters. After I look at those, so I look at my hand here, and I got 2 pairs, which is pretty good. 2 aces and 2 4s. So I might take the 4. Everyone who takes a red chip, the other chips are just for informational purposes. We then reveal our hands, starting with the person who took the 1. And they need to get stronger, and if we do so, hooray, we've robbed the bank. And we open a vault. If anybody has messed up and has a stronger hand than the person before them, or a weaker hand than the person before them, then we set off an alarm. Set off 3 alarms, you lose. Open 3 vaults, you win. And you just play again. You can also play where when you set off an alarm, or when you steal, you get a challenge card, a card to make the next part harder. And if you do a successful vault, or if you set off an alarm, you get a good card to help you make the next round easier. That's how you play. I have not played a game that I bounced around so much on my thoughts on it as this one. Because my initial reaction to it, so I took it home and played it with my family. That was the first time I played it. And the rule book said in the front, let me make sure I'm quoting the rule book.
Avid gamblers, I must assume.
Right.
Sure, but it said something here. It says, if you know the rules of poker, you're doing great. It says, but you know, we've in our playtest, we have found that even absolute poker beginners can easily pick up the gang and have a lot of fun. No. And I'll tell you why, because in this game, one of the things is you need a pretty good knowledge of poker hands, the value of poker hands. There's no waffling on that. You need to know, I'm not even that good at it.
Sure.
So I'll sit there and go, I drew an ace and a 6 for my first cards. I think that's good because there's an ace.
Mm-hmm. And there is something to that, yeah?
Yeah, but my family got really hung up on the fact that they would draw a pair, and because that was the second lowest from the bottom, they were like, well, this really sucks.
Or your opening hand, like, it's only a pair of 4s. You're like, no.
Yeah.
It's something that you're going to have to mess up a lot if you're not super familiar with poker. And even when you are, you're still going to mess up a lot.
It is, and it's one of those things that poker, I think, I like the game of poker. I don't like the world of poker, which, like, poker as a game, I think it's interesting, but I would never play it because people get so, that's exactly it, people get so invested in the world. And this one also, I don't know percentages as well. You mentioned you have to know hands. You also have to know the odds of these things coming out, like, because when you go for yourself, like, I'm going to go for that straight flush or whatever, you don't know that odds are you're never going to get it. But in this one, it's interesting. to have to play those.
And I played this with a lot of different people.
Yes.
And this is one of the most divisive games I've ever taught. There were people who said, this is trash, I don't like it. Or I just don't like it, I don't like poker, I don't like this. And other people said, this is very interesting. It's across the board.
And even people who like poker, when we explain this is what the game is as cooperative Texas Hold'em, they said, no, that sounds lame. Like, the people who enjoy poker, many of them aren't that interested in it because you're taking away the bluffing and the bidding and everything, and you're turning that into this cooperative chip distribution, right? Okay, like 1, 3, 2, is that kind of what we're feeling here? And I could see why really competitive people would not like this, because their success is beholden to people who might not be as good at the game as them, instead of them stealing all their money, winning all their money.
But this is one also that I see that I think gamers that are hardcore gamers don't play poker, I see them getting into. It makes great stories. Like we were playing with this one guy who doesn't play poker, and we asked, okay, how sure are you that you want the 3 chip? And the guy next to him leans over, lifts his hand, and goes, he is not sure at all. The whole time, it's like his hand was not what he thought it was. And those moments are great.
Yeah, but that's part of where I struggle with this. Before I get to that, I want to say I think the best part of the game by far are those challenge and
Yes.
the cards that give you an upgrade.
The boost, yeah, the benefit ones.
They
They're
give
good
you
or
some
bad.
strategic, especially the good ones, right? I almost think strategically the best way to play this is to win twice through whatever ways you can, and then deliberately lose so that you have an advantage
Going into that last
round
yeah.
because that advantage helps you out a lot. I know it doesn't sound right, but
Sure, that involves winning twice, which is hard in and of itself. Very player count dependent as well,
Yeah.
I will say. This goes up to 6 players. 6 is just objectively harder.
it's
Right.
crazy harder.
Yeah, I can't
You know,
imagine.
because someone will be like, my hand is terrible, I'm taking the 1, and someone else will go, also terrible.
Give me
we don't know
that.
which one of, and that's where my problem with the game is, because at the end of the day, a lot of times it's, I had a 2 and a 4, and he had a 2 and a 3. It didn't really matter. And those chips that we take didn't give out any kind of information. And if we're comparing this to The Crew, in The Crew, which is a trick-taking cooperative game, you give out very exacting information. This blue 6 is the highest blue in my hand. And instantly, once you know the game, everyone on the table is like, wow, that was really a useful piece of information you gave. Here I'm like, I'm taking the yellow 2 stars. And I'm like, you're saying your hand isn't great, but it's not the worst it could be. That's very vague information. It doesn't help me at all.
Yeah, I agree. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. I think I've said a lot of negative things up to this point, but I really enjoy what's going on. You're going to lose some hands just on kind of dumb luck like that, right?
Yes.
People arguing, no, I think my hand is worse, and in your situation, 4-2, 3-2. How could you tell? There's not really a way to tell. When I play this game, especially I think at the higher player count, I find the groups I play with gravitate less from playing for like the best 3 out of 5, 3 wins, 3 losses, and we just kind of count each discrete hand as a win or loss. When you're playing with 6 people, you're going to lose more than you win, I think.
Right.
And so
I agree on that. That's fine to do.
Yeah,
And you could even play with an advantage every game, just so there's like some strategic point, especially if you're playing with 6.
yeah, and at that point, it's just if you win a hand, it feels amazing, and that high is so cool to chase. And I think that when you play with say 4 people, it's more like that's more reasonable to me. Try to win 3 of them, or see if you win 3, lose 3 first, and I enjoy that. But it's odd to me that what you said, the best part of those games, the challenges and the boosts and stuff, is like an optional variant.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is, and that's a little weird to me.
It's necessary.
Yeah, because it adds more strategy. When you get a boost that says someone at one point can reveal one of their cards, that is
Massive.
That's the help with this whole 4-2, 3-2 situation, right? But it's odd that that's kind of like an optional thing when I feel like it's so crucial.
If you take that out of the game that this is closest to is the mind. If you like the mind, I think you'll like this game.
Yeah.
Because in the mind, you're also like, I'm going to play a 7, and then you're like, I think I have the next highest number at 17. You're kind of just guessing. And like you said, when you play the mind and you get all those cards high, it's a success, and everyone's like, woo! And that's at the high, and I get that this game has that same thing. We're like, oh my goodness, you're the last person, flip it.
Right.
Man.
But that being said, I don't like it. I try to. Yes, the highs are great, and I think there's a lot of cool things in this, and I get that there's going to be people who enjoy it. For me, it's a 5. It's close. It's almost a 6. Maybe I'll give it a 5.5. Not that that matters much, but it's close. But at the end of the day, I would rather play poker, and I don't really want to play poker. I mess with online poker a lot, not actual real poker
not for
with money.
yeah.
I just play with some things and I've been practicing mostly because I've been curious. You know, I love watching movies about. And I'm like, I'm trying to figure out all these terms and is there a way that you could do well at the game? And I don't really get it. Okay, and I know that there's strategy to poker and a lot of things, but I think a lot of people would prefer poker to this. This doesn't really add anything to me. I get why some people would enjoy it, and it has amazing components. But for me, I don't really want to play it again. But I gave it a fair shake, I think.
Yeah, you played a lot. I'll go
I don't know
next.
who's there.
Yeah, I'm curious about this, right? I'm much higher than you. I'm coming in at a 7.5 because I think that I went into this probably enjoying poker more than you already.
Sure.
If we did a list of games that we played as children growing up.
One of us was born in Vegas. We know.
Keep hearing about that.
Yeah, I knew how to play poker because my dad, was before I learned a lot of other games.
He learned it at the table. They pulled up his high chair. Here, kid.
Child services, you listen?
And I've tried playing like poker night poker with friends and stuff, even if there's no money on the table, which I
M&M's.
right or whatever it is. Some poker nights last longer than games of Twilight Imperium.
Yes.
That's what I've heard.
And so I think one of the things that this does successfully is that it gives a reason to have a short form poker game.
I agree.
And it's cooperative, so it has those high moments where everyone gets to share in the excitement together. I think that there's not as good information as other limited communication cooperative games that I'm going to lean more towards The Crew and Sky Team, other games like that. But I have a little bit of a soft spot for poker, and I think that this does it in an interesting way where you're still just playing Texas Hold'em, and you're taking away the bidding and all that stuff, and you're replacing it with a little bit of mind reading. But like I said, you throw those extra cards in. Even some of the challenge cards are fairly fun. Like, not only do you have to get the order of the power of the hands correct, but you have to guess what type of winning hand the highest player has. And that's when some of the information on the table really matters. I think that is that's a cool thing that they did. So I agree with you, Tom. I've kind of bounced around a lot of different places with my thoughts on this. 7.5.
Going a bit higher at an 8, and only because I really liked it, and I think it is group dependent. But the thing is, you compare it to The Crew. The Crew also has those moments where you will just lose. You look at your hand, you're like, "This is not possible. I can't win these tricks," and it does happen. But here,
It's very rarely impossible.
okay, but here also it's not impossible either. And later,
No, it's always possible here. It's
is.
always possible to get them in the right order.
It is, but I think later as you play more and more, here's the difference. I still love The Crew. The Crew is more of like this is our game tonight. We're going to play through 10 scenarios. This is more like, hey, let's do this game real quick as we wait for somebody else. This is more you can bring out, because Chris has a point to where poker is a good game, but it takes 3 to 4 hours to make it any fun. You're not going to play one hand of Texas Hold'em. It's like this makes it very, and it's
That's
honestly,
a good argument. I'll buy this.
it's entertaining
Your
to
argument,
do
I
it,
know.
to do it quickly and be like, oh, we blew that, and then you put it away and you're on the next game. I think just because it comes out quick, and again, the variants they should be in the base. There's no way, otherwise it's just poker and shouldn't exist. But it's just, so I'm going to 8. I enjoy it a lot.
Well, there you go, folks. That is The Gang. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Chris Yee.
I'm Joy Evans.
We're going to Vegas.
Deal me in.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another video from the Dice Tower. Hey, you want to learn more about us, communicate with us? We have a Facebook group, we have a Discord channel, lots of different ways to get involved with the Dice Tower. You can find that in our Linktree link below. So just click that, it will take you and you can communicate with us on Facebook, join our Facebook groups. There's lots of cool things that you can find and become part of the Dice Tower. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Tom Vassell.